let's make a list. My number 10 favorite scary movie is The Invisible Man from 2020. And I think everybody kind of remembers 2020 at this point. What a weird, wacky, wild year that was. Theaters getting shut down. So it was a struggle for businesses for theaters to find success, to have films, to get people come in. There was all sorts of COVID protocols. There were the separate seats where they were trying to just stay afloat somehow, some way. And I can't remember the first movie I went back to theaters to watch. I can't remember. It was either Black Widow or The Eternals. Anyways, but me and the wife were home. Home during this COVID, situation, lifestyle, and we watched a lot of television shows, watched a lot of movies to pass the time. And this happened to be one of them. I believe it was on HBO Max. And we put it on. I'm like, whatever. Let's see what it is. And to my surprise, it was actually pretty good. Most modern mainstream scary movies don't really get me. I've mentioned, I believe, that so many hit the, or get the machine behind them, and they're just duds. They're just absolute duds. This one was really, really good. And psychological thriller. I think that's the best part of it, because you're frustrated. Like, I was frustrated watching this movie because you think but you don't necessarily know because the character hasn't figured it out. And there was just a lot of suspense and good jump scares. This is something that's important to me. It's like a good jump scare that actually means something. It's not like a fake out. I can't stand those. I think they're so weak. But the craziest scene in this was when Cecilia was out to dinner with her sister Emily. And they're talking, they're having a conversation in the middle of a nice restaurant. And if you, like, a blink and you'll miss it moment, the knife starts raising up in the air and cuts her sister's throat right in the middle of the restaurant. There's like a brief pause, and it's crazy. It's freaking crazy. And then the knife ends up in Cecilia's hand, adding to the stress, to the horror of this film. I enjoy it. Some people may find it as campy. I love the ending to it as well. She gets her revenge, and all's well and good. But there was a nice psychological thriller aspect to this that I think is great, and with just enough violence and action where it wasn't overbearing, if that makes sense. Like, again, I think too much is never a good thing. But my number 10 is Invisible Man, 2020. Number 9. I still have to see the second part of this, as it was filmed in Western New York. But my number 9 is A Quiet Place. I've seen this movie a couple times. The first time was in theaters. It came out in 2018, directed by the lovable John Krasinski. And it was a fun watch. It was a fun watch. And here's why. Obviously, if you've seen this film, you know that the point is to be as quiet as possible. If you make any noise, these alien creatures have this supersonic hearing ability, can come and find you and beat you up, kill you, end your life, so to speak. And I don't know why I said so to speak. It's what happens. So you're sitting in the movie theater, and you're already on edge because the characters aren't supposed to make very loud noises. They're whispering. They're doing sign language to communicate with each other. So every little noise bothers you. All right, it gets you all angsty. And then you're immersed in this experience. So people chomping on popcorn, like, it starts to add a little bit. Somebody sneezes in the movie theater, you kind of jump up a little bit if you are truly immersed in this film. And the ending was great. The whole movie, I thought was fantastic and done masterfully. And yeah, again, if you were locked in, you felt this movie in a different way. And I appreciate it for that. But yes, I do want to see the second one. I do have to. But that was a great one. So my number 9, Quiet Place. Number 8 is The Mist. I actually watched this one in media production class my junior year. I forget the reasoning why. There was a lesson in watching it. But it was, Frank Darabont was the director. But this is based on a Stephen King novel. And it was pretty terrifying, right? Locked in a convenience store, this mist rolls in, all these monsters are coming around, people are losing their mind, they're splitting up into factions, there's a religious zealot kind of amassing people and convincing people that, it's been a little while since I watched it, but convincing, getting a following behind it's quite dangerous. And man, that ending messed me up. That ending really messed me up. And I never read the novel before. I've read less than a handful of Stephen King books, and that was not one of them. But that ending messed me up. When they get in the car, when they're driving away in the mist, and it's the dad, the son, and the elderly couple, and they have the gun. They realize that there seems to be no end in sight. The mist is everywhere. It's taken over, and there's nowhere to go. There's just despair, and they do that vile act. And the dad is the last one left standing. And as he's about to pull the trigger, after he's lost his son, the older couple is gone. The military rolls in, and the mist starts to clear, and it is gut-wrenching. That scream at the end, how pissed he is that everything was in vain. And, man, I don't know why. I really don't know why we watched this in middle school. There was a point and purpose. I wish I do remember it, but that ending messed me up bad. Real bad. I was so just sad at the ending of this film. And that speaks volumes to what this film was, right? It made you love these human characters and feel their pain and sorrow and just feel emotion with them. And that ending was, shit. It was a great ending, but it was just like, it made you feel. Usually, like, most movies, I feel like, have a happy ending, so to speak, and that one, like, the credits are coming through, starting to roll, and you're just like, what did I just watch? And that is the making of a great, scary movie. So, number 8, The Mist. All right, my number 7 is 1993's Fire in the Sky. I did not watch this movie in 1993. In fact, one of the films that I'm going to talk about led me to a big extraterrestrial alien kick. All right, in the early 2000s, and I'm still obsessed with this stuff, most certainly. But it was probably a couple, like 2003, 2004, when I watched this movie. My parents rented it from Blockbuster, and I was very curious because they said it's based on a true story. All right, directed by Robert Lieberman and adapted by Tracy Torme. And, it's based on a true story. The synopsis, the quick plot, is that it's based on the actual abduction of Travis Walton. All right? And there's a lot that goes. It's very, very visually scary. And like the filming was, I think it was nicely done. The beginnings of the movie are very kind of comfortable, and then there's the abduction scene and him getting experimented on, and I think like the trauma and feeling of that is tough. It's tough. It was a tough watch for me when I did watch it. But you felt it. You felt it when stuff is getting screwed into him and all sorts of things are being looked at and analyzed, and these creepy but very, very well-designed alien creatures are experimenting on him. You felt that. You don't even have to watch the full movie. I mean, obviously, it adds to it all because a lot of the stuff that happens afterwards is, after he comes back to Earth, after he's found is his trauma. It's related to all of his trauma and experience from that. But that experiment scene in it, scary. Makes you think. It makes you wonder. We are going to deal with cryptids and some other stuff this month as well. That is a plan, maybe even as soon as next week. But it makes you think. It definitely adds to that uneasiness of, hey, maybe we're not alone in this universe. So, yes. So number 7, Fire in the Sky. Number 6, I'm going to go Paranormal Activity. I love this found footage film style of it. I think they did a really good job with the cinematography of it. It felt real and legit. And obviously, this couple moves into the house. They're slowly being driven into madness. I know, if I'm not mistaken, there's a couple different endings to it. But you thought it was like, a lot of people went to see this and thought it was real because that's how well this crew that put this film together, did. And obviously, it was abused eventually. There's a couple other Paranormal Activity movies, and obviously, riding off the namesake of the first one, the most popular one, and just wringing it out for every last drop of money. I guess it's Hollywood for you, but the first one was really good, and that's the only one that I really truly remember. Just the filming, the ending of the wife killing the husband, all the screams and a lot of stuff left up to the imagination. That was rough in a good way. Obviously, it helped sell the realism of the film. There's a lot of moments that you didn't necessarily want to watch, but they did a masterful job of selling this thing as real. And, the slow descent into madness, right? It all starts off great. We got this new house and slowly, angry madness and all sorts of weird stuff. It just escalates. And from a flow perspective, that's really well done. So, all right, my number 5. This film actually came out this year, and it is Sinners. All right, this one was pretty mainstream, and I was a little bit skeptical because if everybody's telling me I have to watch something, usually I don't want to watch it. But I came across it. We were watching it at home. I forget which streaming service it was on, and I didn't really know. Like I didn't watch any previews for it. I didn't look up the plot of what it was. I came into it pretty unknowing or just ready for anything, I guess. And I like how it starts off easygoing. Like, if you have no idea what you're coming into, then this film is it starts off great, kind of cheery in a sense, right? Michael B. Jordan's characters opening up a club and all this stuff, and it's like, okay, this seems relatively normal. And then there's the slow descent into madness, the vampire, the racist vampire, to start off, and it slowly starts picking off all of the members of this club that they did. It was suspenseful because at first, like, you didn't know necessarily what direction this film was going, like how things were going to start to gradually fall apart. And it was good. I think the visual effects were well done. I like the eyes, the eeriness of the yellow eyes standing out. And there was such a creepy overtone. Like, as everybody's getting picked off and turned into vampires, this sense of dread and oh God, how are they going to figure this out? I think it weighed on you. And then again, watching characters that were built up that you cared about in some way fall off, like get bitten or accept this gift of immortality, so to speak. It was some scary stuff, and it was very good. It was very, very good. It was well shot, and there was several scary scenes. A lot of anxiety kind of in it. When they threw the one guy out, he was covered in wine, but they thought it was blood, and they threw him out there. Some of the one, like the when they're lunging for people's arms, when some of the characters are trying to get back into the club and they don't, they're asking the question if they can get in, and our main character's starting to become slowly aware of what's going on. There's some crazy jump scares in there, and it was some great stuff. If you haven't checked it out yet, I invite you to do so. Great cast and very, very good film. That's my number 5 is Sinners. All right, my number 4 is easily my oldest one, by a long shot, by 20 years to be exact. We're going to The Blob, the 1958 version. I watched the newer remake version, which I believe was the 90s, and it didn't quite do it for me. But this original version is perfect. I like 1950s culture mostly is very interesting. The whole, drive-in movie theater culture, right, is pretty cool. Like teenagers, all these the greasers and all the different like school like faction, like personality factions and stuff. I find it kind of interesting. And this was apparently a big time hit at the drive-in movie theater. And it's kind of cool to think that, of course, Steve McQueen's in it. There's a whole generation of like kids that just swarmed the drive-in movie. Like, this was the quintessential drive-in movie theater film. And like, we have a drive-in movie theater here in Western New York. And I don't know, they don't, if there's a newer scary movie that comes out, they'll play it, but sometimes they do like a Retro Tuesday. And that's kind of, who the heck goes to a drive-in on a Tuesday night? But it just seems cool to think about how many people sat in their cool 50s cars and with their friends and family and went and watched a film, hooked up the speaker box to their car. But anyways, this film is, I think it's the perfect classic horror film. Right, this blob that's carnivorous, right? It comes in from space and starts eating people, and the more people it eats, the bigger it gets, and scary. It's simply put. I love the classic nature of it, simply put, and it is terrifying to think about a jelly ball blob thing coming and just absorbing people with this acid-like features and just absorbing and just getting bigger and destroying a whole town. So The Blob is number 4 for me. My number 3 is the OG Halloween. This is my second oldest film, 1978, John Carpenter classic. There's a couple reasons why I love this film. One, there's not a whole lot, or if any, gore in it. There's definitely some visual stuff, a lot of stuff that's left up to mystery as well. But I also love the story about how low budget this movie was and how it became a cult classic, so to speak. I watched this movie for the first time in 2012. It was on YouTube, free on YouTube. It might still very well be free on YouTube. But I want to look up. I got the Wikipedia here in front of me. I want to look up the budget. Should have it ready. It was made with a $300,000 to $325,000 budget, and it made $70 million, and that is awesome to see. But yeah, I mean, it's a great, mostly great franchise, right? The Michael Myers, like the third one wasn't bad. It obviously didn't have anything to do with Michael Myers. It was I think the Season of the Witch it was called. But this is the one that started it all. All right, all the different remakes and weird spin-offs and all sorts of things. Like, it started off with this very well made film, and there's a lot of just scary moments in it. I mean, the ending, Loomis shoots Michael out of the window like 6 times, and then when they go to check on the body, he's gone. The second one is really good the second Halloween is really good as well. It's a great follow-up to it, but dark and just fun. Great. I love it. I do. I'm gonna have to rewatch this one soon. I think it's I think there's a game coming out actually. Which is pretty exciting. But yeah, the Halloween franchise has been milked for every last dime it possibly can. It's got a huge cult following, but this was the beginning, and I love it. So that's my number 3. Number 2 is Sleepy Hollow, 1999 Sleepy Hollow by Tim Burton, starring Johnny Depp as Ichabod Crane. A little bit of a different twist on the overall story, but I love the Legend of Sleepy Hollow book by Washington Irving. All right. My mom bought me, when I was younger, I still have it to this day, but the great illustrated classic, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I used to love getting those books. I had several. But this is a different twist on it, and it's actually got a really great cast. Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. Christopher Lee's in it. Ian McDiarmid, and there's a lot of other great, talented actors and actresses in this. Oh, good God. Christina Ricci's in it. She was like that person, like her. And I'm trying to think of the other one. But she was like a big fixture in a lot of like 80s, 90s, probably mostly 90s, but those scary films. And yeah, she was front and center, obviously. Great film. Great film. A lot of scary, disturbing stuff. The tree with all of the heads. Christopher Walken with those sharp teeth. Just watching the story unfold. It was a different take on it, but really, really good. Some of the fighting scenes are pretty crazy. I mean, I think the CGI is aged relatively well, but there's some cool stuff in it, man. It is a yearly watch for me. It is a yearly watch. I really enjoy it. So Sleepy Hollow, 1999, and my number 1 favorite scary movie, and this is the only scary movie that I watch year round. The only one. And it is M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, 2002. I love this movie so much. I have rewatched it over and over and over and over again. I received this for Easter in 2003, a VHS. And this is what kicked off my interest in extraterrestrials, in aliens, and like it really sparked that love for me. I love the flow of the film. I do. I love how It starts off slow with the aliens, right? There's the crop circles, and okay, here's a shadow figure, and then here's a limb out in the crops at night, and then the UFOs start showing up. I like the gradual descent into madness. I think it flowed very, very well. The music, the soundtrack, awesome. I still listen to it, and the way that the strings are, the string instruments, you could feel like the tension in it. The Brazilian video. All right. Normally, when you say the Brazilian video, people are talking about something else. But in this case, this is the first like full glimpse we see. You know, we get Joaquin Phoenix's character in the closet watching this character emerge from this alien emerge from the trees and look right at the camera. Oh, it still gives me the chills. Oh, it does, and that's how well it is. The music added to the tension, and then when that release finally happens, that doom, and the alien walks across the screen, it gets me every time. Some really great stuff. In my opinion, M. Night Shyamalan's best movie that he's done. I've watched a lot of them, and I became hooked and addicted. You know, I watched The Village. I enjoyed it until the ending kind of stunk. I didn't care for the ending, but I watched The Village because I liked Signs so much. And I think the term is cape for this film. I think that's the proper term is cape for this film, but it is really, really good. And if I did a top 10 movies list, this would be on there. Like movies that I've rewatched, that I love, that I adore, that I defend. This is a top 10 movie period for me. And so, you know, yeah, some of the stuff, like my buddy Brian, who I love to reference on the show, he makes fun of the fact that if aliens are so, like if water is so deadly to them, why would they come to a planet that's 75% water? Yeah, I guess I get that talking point. I guess it's fair. It's a fair criticism. I don't know. I think it's great. I do. I look past that and just enjoy it. And yeah, it's brilliant to me. So there it is, everybody. The scary movie list.